Well, hello, children from the neighborhood. How are the children? How are the children? It's a great question if you happen to be in the state of Texas or just about anywhere in the United States right now. Yes. How are we holding up? I just finished, I shouldn't do that live. I just finished eating something. I baked some apples. Yes, with some walnuts. And it was quite delicious. Yes, yes. Quite delicious indeed. Baked apples with oats and brown sugar and walnuts and butter. Yes. Um, well, let's all get together. Today is hot topic. Excuse me, hot topics. I suppose I should tell you that the hot topic is about leaving the United States. You know, the US Russian war tensions is what we're going to be talking about. And a lot of people feel like they just want to leave the United States. You know what I mean? Who here feels that way? Who here feels, I never know how to do this. Who here feels like, you know what? I am out of here. This is not my cup of tea. I don't think I want to live in this country anymore. Well, the good news is that there are a lot of countries outside the United States that are cheaper than the United States if you decide to go that route and throw in the towel and leave America. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to disentangle your life from the United States. Excuse me. And you may find a number of reasons why you chose to leave the United States. The main reason is because people cannot financially afford to retire in the United States. If you're like me and you're a sole proprietor in the state of Oregon, I just found out that I'm in the highest tax bracket in the United States. So I get taxed 14 point something percent state taxes plus my federal. So if I hope to retire, if I hope to have a decent life, I have to seriously ask myself, do I need to relocate to someplace like Mexico? So if you relocate to some place like Baja, Mexico, your rent would probably get cut in half. You could get a SIM card, there's a number of things you could do, and then you could just set up shop in working in Mexico. But if you're talking about someplace like Puerto Vallarta, San Miguel de Allende, which has a high number of expat retirees, you want to be at a salary of about $24,000 a year. So you want to have a minimum of $2,000 a month coming in. You might be able to make it on less if you, instead of getting an apartment, rented a room, then you might be able to survive on less. You could probably get a room for $250, $300 a month. And then if you were living on $1,000 a month, you could do it fairly well in Oaxaca, and they do have good health care. Panama is another option for people who are on fixed income. Panama. Now people are looking at Malaysia. Malaysia require to be a digital nomad, you have to show proof that you earn $24,000 a year or that you have a retirement of $24,000 a year. So Malaysia is good. I think Malaysia is also good if you want to get out away from Europe. So I think people are serious. I think that people are seriously asking themselves, can I financially afford to retire in the United States? The dollar is strong, but the lifestyle is just too expensive. State taxes, federal taxes. The basic argument of nomad capitalist is that why don't you just go where people treat you well? And I think that's a really, hedonistic way of looking at life, but there's some truth to it. If somebody is not treating you well in a relationship, if a country is not treating you well, then his argument is, why don't you go where they would treat you better? He said, if you move to the capital of Malaysia, they'll treat you like gold and you can live comfortably on $2,000 a month. So his argument is, why stay here where you're paying all these taxes and you're being treated like crap when you can go be treated like gold for half the price in Malaysia. And that America used to be a great country to retire in, but it's no longer feasible for many. You have to be rich to retire in the United States. 1,100, then I would recommend Mexico, Central and South America, beautiful retirement homes in Chile. I would check out Panama, Linda. Because you have to realize that if you earn 1,100 in the United States, that's going to be 2,200 in Panama. So you say, well, I can't afford to move because I only earn 1,100. And the point that people are coming to is the realization that they cannot afford to stay. Priced out by healthcare, by rent. It's just not feasible for a lot of seniors to stay in the United States. And in shaky times, if we're meditating on this idea of shaky times, if you are to listen to spirit at this time, you are not to purchase. People think that they have to go to Portugal and they have to buy a house and they have to commit and they have to do, but that's not what Spirit is saying to people. Spirit is saying if you don't feel safe, then you can dismantle your life, maybe have a friend store some of your stuff and go and rent a room in Baja, Mexico for 6 months. And then maybe go rent a room in Malaysia for 6 months. It wouldn't cost you any money, really. It wouldn't be beyond your budget. And you could just get out of here for a while. Do not buy property. Do not buy a house. It reminds me of the stories. Sorry about the cough. Yes, full disclosure. I've been vaping. I know I shouldn't. Trump got elected, I started smoking weed. It's making me cough. I know I got to stop. It's part of what's going on. But anyway, what was I saying before that confession? Yes. This is another reason why I should leave, because it's just so easy in Portland. Like, I'm depressed. I'm going to go vape because of who got elected president, this sort of thing. If you leave the United States, you don't have to deal with Donald Trump as the president. Yeah, affordable places for retirees. So we're talking about beautiful homes in Nicaragua. Nicaragua's up and coming. You can get a great cup of coffee for 50 cents in Nicaragua. I was living on $5 a day well in Nicaragua. I had a little room. I had a long stay at a hostel. I had a long stay at a hostel, which was $5 a night. And then I had $5 to live on. And for the $5 to live on, I would get a couple cups of coffee. Breakfast was free at the hostel. And I would take myself out to lunch at this really great cantina where they had like all these cooked foods and you got to pick them out. And so I'd always get chicken and rice and something else. And I realized that I could live very comfortably, very happily retired on $10 a day in Nicaragua. So I think it was Granada, the city of Granada, the town of Granada in Nicaragua. Managua's dangerous. Get out of Managua. Costa Rica, Panama is within frugal budget. Some parts of Africa are starting to be welcoming to expats that want to be on a budget. What else are they saying? Yeah, I mean, where do you want to live? Expats are now moving to Egypt. They've got Egypt visas for very little money. Go live in a village in Egypt for 6 months. I just think that a lot of seniors are coming up with creative ways to live, and they're also putting up YouTube channels where they'll go spend 6 months in a village in Egypt. Cost $50, $100 or whatever to stay in Upper Egypt with a family, learn a little Arabic, learn the customs. Doesn't really cost any money. And then, if you can get a 3 to 6 month visa and then just move on and go maybe spend some time in Morocco, which is also definitely affordable. Same situation you can get. There are real estate room rental listings that are much cheaper than Airbnb if you're looking for like long-term stays in places like Puerto Escondido. But I think from the research I've done, the easiest way to get out of the United States is to just go to Mexico because most people can survive on $1,000 a month comfortably. And there are some very safe neighborhoods and it's not as spooky as you think. There are some very nice, safe retirement communities and you can just retire with dignity. So if I was desperate to get out of here and I didn't have a lot of money, I would go to Oaxaca. I would go to some place like Puerto Escondida or Puerto Vallarta or San Miguel de Allende. In fact, that's probably what I'm going to do because it's looking really close to the fact that I probably will be leaving the United States because a lot of us are getting priced out. I'm a sole proprietor. I work for myself and everything's getting eaten up in taxes. How can I possibly retire if the state is taking 15% and the feds are taking 20, 30%? Again, if you're self-employed, you have to and you're digital, you have to seriously ask yourself not, the luxury of living abroad, but the luxury of living here in the United States. You have to seriously look at yourself, look at your retirement situation. And if you're only going to be retiring on $1,000 a month, seriously ask yourself, can I afford to remain in the United States? I don't want to live in my car. I want to live with dignity. I loved Oaxaca, and I saw little rooms for rent all over the place for like $200. And I made friends with all the dogs, of course. And there were fruit juice stands everywhere, and there was music, and you didn't need to have a lot of money to be happy. And yeah, so I think that people just are, well, I've got to move to Australia and I'm going to need $500,000 and then to purchase my first condo. It's like, what the heck are you talking about? You don't know what tomorrow will bring. We're in the middle of war times. We're talking about people renting a room. Don't buy anything. That's the whole point. I mean, that's what the Chinese youth are doing. Don't buy anything right now because the whole thing could collapse. You don't want to be, say, civil war breaks out in Nicaragua and you're having a great time in Grenada and you just purchased a place. It's like, oh, hell. No, you hang out, live as simple as, live like a beach bum, you know? All your pharmaceuticals are like a fourth of the price over there. It's like, so yeah, again, you have to ask yourself, can you afford to stay in the US? Canada is a big no. It actually is really low on the list, Canada, because um, it's very expensive. They've got a housing shortage. Some of the most expensive city in the world is like Vancouver, BC. So Baja was up on the list. Baja's good. Portugal got good ratings. Italy got good ratings. Sardinia, Cyprus. These are countries where you can live with no money. Some of the Greek islands, believe it or not, have gotten abandoned. If you're cool, if you want to live a simple life in Greece, you can get visas for up to 6 months. And yeah, Australia's too expensive. But some of the Greek Isles aren't. And again, we're talking about renting, not buying. Sardinia, Armenia, Czech. If you want to be in Europe, then look to Czech. You can still get some affordable housing in Prague. Yeah. All right, we're going to go ahead. We'll do the MPAS prayer. If anybody would like to be included in the prayer, please let us know. We will pray for you and for those that need prayers. Yeah, we're going back to the days of the barefoot doctor. Whimsy is going back to being a barefoot doctor. It's going to be a little complicated because I've got a guitar and a violin. If I had a Vardo and a good horse, then I would be set. It's just me and my mule crossing the world, barefoot doctor, with my medicines, my violin, my guitar. I think I would be quite happy. Yes. Amsterdam. A lot of people in Netherlands, but it's expensive. We're talking about like affordable. Jamaica. Mm-hmm. Yes, Jamaica, man. Mm-hmm. Okay. I want to call on wildlife protection for myself in this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen. And for everyone who has requested that they receive a healing for themselves and for those they love, we pray that you and those you love receive the perfect healing that you are requesting, healing in both mind, body, and spirit. And together collectively as a community, again, we say, Amen. Amen, amen, amen. Yeah, you don't need a lot of money to emigrate to Mexico, Central America, Peru. I know people that are doing it. I don't know. I would have like $5,000 to $10,000 cash. If say you decided you wanted to start someplace like Peru, I wouldn't stay in Lima, but hop around Peru. You could probably do it comfortably for $2,000 a month. Stay in a couple places. And then when it gets too hot, you can just move north. That's what people do, right? They bounce back and forth. A lot of the young kids, they'll go to Chile and Brazil, and Venezuela is crazy right now, but there's also communes if you are a vegan. There's several communes, Helen Wheels. So there are communes for vegans if you want to stay permanently and build roots with communities. You can Google communes all over the world and pick one to go live in. And that's another option. Yeah, so the digital nomad visa is different, but yeah, Canada we don't recommend because Canada is one of the harder places to immigrate. So an ambulance was reported at Mar-a-Lago. It was evidently associated with J.D. Vance's team, and supposedly they were doing some kind of red flag maneuvers or rehearsal or something, and supposedly it was a rehearsal for something. That's what I heard. And then it was completed. They were doing like maybe an emergency evacuation or something test. And because then after they completed it, they said the test had been completed. So I think it was more a test for emergency evacuation services. But people don't know. They see Secret Service jumping in and all this other crazy stuff going on. And then, so I think it was a test of their emergency system. Hi, Darren Williams. Thank you so much. Very kind of you to donate. Yeah, I think so. I think it was probably just a test. But, what they were saying is it was just a drill of their emergency system. But the reason why people freaked out is because with an aging incoming president, people think, well, these kinds of drills will probably become more and more frequent. And that's probably why they're doing them more often, is because we do have a new president coming in who's an aging president. Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to give a shout out to all of the new members here on my channel. As many of you know, this is one of the ways we support ourselves. I'm able to support people like my friend Chuck Dransfield. Keep putting fun quality stuff out. It's because of folks like you. Hello, Sue, Rel, Sandy, Delilah, Sandra Harrison, Mary Lee, Beth, Daniel, Puckett, Catherine, Turlikowski, Sugi, Joey, Debbie P, Kimber, Patty Weber, Victoria Olson, Darren Williams, Linda Galege, Galgay, Carla Hipkins, Mary McSorley, Whisper, Shari, Carla Weekly, of course. I just wanted to give gratitude to everybody who has joined this week, and of course everybody who continues to join. We're now at a whopping 351 guests. And of course, if you haven't had a chance yet to audit our classes, Friday it's open for audit at the we don't always open it for Fairies and Angels, but we are going to be teaching a very important class tomorrow, Friday, on the human energy field and how to protect yourself. And I think that this is something that we get asked a lot as professional empaths because we feel the emotions and sometimes we over-empathize with the target. And so I think it's going to be a very interesting discussion tomorrow. So hopefully you can all join us there. So thank you for those donations and support of the channel. As you can see, we raise a good, a little nice money there to help keep ourselves up and running, pay for all the cool stuff we do here, keep Chuck by my side, all that amazing stuff. You make it happen. So thank you. Thank you for that. All right. Well, would you like to blitz, blitz, blitz away? Does that sound like fun to all of you? Well, the drills have always been there, and I think some of the time they're very funny. Sometimes these drills can be very funny. What is the name of that comedian that lip syncs? Her name is Sarah. What is it? Oh. So when these kind of drills go on, they went on quite a bit under Trump, and people had a lot of fun with it. How presidents get drilled.
During the day, and I was there for a tiny little short period of time, and it was much more for an inspection. There was no problem during the day. And I've gone down 2 or 3 times, all for inspection. And you go there, someday you may need it, but you go there, and I went down, I looked at it. It was during the day. It was not a problem.
Sometimes the Secret Service even tells the president, I can't do this. So you tell me, Mr. President, they didn't say to you, you have to go downstairs. My responsibility is your welfare. They didn't limit you at all in the House?
Nope, they didn't tell me that at all. But they said it would be a good time to go down, take a look, because maybe sometime you're going to need it. And I've been down, let's see, that would be number 2.5, sort of, because I've done different things, but 2.5. But I looked, I was down for a very, very short period of time, very, very short period of time.
All right, so we had fun with that. Okay, so that's an example of when they were doing the basement drill. So they do evacuation drills. They do drills where they have to get them from point. I just think it's I'm sorry. I love Sarah Cooper. I think she's very funny. So yes, this is something that Princess Diana has talked about, when we've done remote views. And then when I read Prince Harry's book about the drills and how he thought it was always funny that they would grab the children and have to go hide in some area. And it's all fun and games until he looked at his mother, Princess Diana, and the look of worry and fear and terror on her face. And then it dawned on him, oh, this isn't a joke. Like, we're doing this because there are people trying to kill us. And that's why these drills have to happen. It's a very interesting conversation. It's interesting that they had one today. And it's interesting also to see how people reacted. Like, was it a drill? Was it something more? Maybe it was something more. Maybe it wasn't just a drill. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But for right now, they're saying it was a drill. Okay, what about the ICC warrant for Netanyahu's arrest? Yes. Looting of food in Gaza. So he was trying to starve out Hamas, which meant that the innocent people got starved, right? There's a lot of things that happen. So, is one of my lights out? No. I seem to be in the dark. How's that? All right, let's see what happens to Netanyahu. Probably nothing. Probably symbolic more than anything else. Two of Pentacles. He's always getting in trouble. Sun's coming out. Evidence against him. Ten of Pentacles. It blocks his ability to travel to certain parts of the world because of the arrest warrant. So he will fight the arrest warrant, and it will probably... this is showing him winning. Yeah, that it was unfounded. It's war. People die in war. People blow each other up. Bad things happen. Israel was an invaded country, and they had to smoke out the terrorist. I mean, there'll be this feeling of Ace of Swords. He is victorious. Two of Pentacles. He's one. Two of Pentacles has a charlatan or back and forth aspect to it. His opposition has a lot of goods on him, I would think, with the Empress and the Sun coming out. The hope and fear, his own strength, contracts. He's working now with the ME to create a two-state solution with the Trump administration. Let's see if they pull it off. And final outcome is his legacy, a new beginning in the spring. I don't know if that means that he's not going to be elected in the spring. Are we voting again in May in Israel? Excuse me. But it looks like they're not going to stop him because he's victorious. But they're moving very aggressively towards the rebuild. Towards the rebuild of Gaza. There it is. The contract. Strong woman coming after him, possibly from the EU. Sun coming out. Oh, I've got to stop smoking. It's so bad for me. He's going to have his ideas supported. In answer to the question, does Netanyahu and Kushner want to take Gaza? No, they don't want to take Gaza. Israel left Gaza in 2005 because it's like their Vietnam. And they didn't want to go back to Vietnam. What they wanted was to get Iranian-backed terrorists out and to have it be monitored by Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates during the rebuild. That was all. Kushner made some statements. But he made some things about that people should be like moved temporarily to the Negev while they're doing the rebuild, because, which actually, if you understand the area, it's probably not entirely a bad idea because they keep getting killed while they're shooting down Hamas. So it's, yeah, so I think they're going to pull it off. I think that that, as crazy as it sounds, I think they're going to do this. I think that they're going to bring in the Middle Eastern world. I think that they've already kicked Hamas out of Qatar. I think that they're going to make a deal, Kushner is, with the Middle Eastern world. They're going to shake hands. I think they're going to bring them in and do a cleanup. And I think they're going to create a two-state solution. And it's not. It would have been nice if it could have been done. A little more gently, as they say. Yes, let's see here. There was a news article that was kind of cool, that was talking about the rebuild and had a little bit of the I think he's going to pull it off. I mean, because he has the support. He has the support. I wish that Biden would have done it, but it's one of the reasons why he had Arab support during the election. So I think that's so Biden basically prolonging the war and Trump building the two-state solution in Gaza, which is basically what they said they were going to do. So again, let's see. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But nope, Israel will not be taking Gaza. That is not the intent. Not by a long shot, my loves. Not by long shots. Well, it will be under the military control of the United Arab. It'll be like a United Arab NATO, and then they will slowly hand control over to a local country, and then they will have a soft border between Israel. I actually found something that I thought was kind of cool that seemed to suggest something a little It sounded like it might be the Oasis. And I sent it to a friend. Let me see if I can find that article, but I got a kick out of it because it was saying, well, we're going to create a series of like loop-de-loops and so yeah, let me see if I can find this. Yeah, so what I liked about it was that these Oasis like protocol, it got good reviews from everybody, from Orthodox Jewish community to the Muslim community. The plan was supported. Prime Minister could enthusiastically support such a plan. It would be end the violence and result in peaceful relations between the two peoples. Trump proposed that Gaza and the West Bank be connected by a combination of above-ground roads and tunnels, but only after Hamas is removed from leadership. So yeah, so that was kind of cool to see that. And it goes back to that idea we were talking of, that the best thing to do would be to create a soft border. The other thing is that in the other good news that came out was I saw an article, I think it was in Harvard. Here it is. Yes. Starting to get picked up now that it's moving forward, that they will be doing the rebuild. So again, moving in the right direction. This is what we want to see. Yeah. So that they can eventually govern themselves without having Iran coming in. Yeah, this is something we began at Harvard last year to bring to this university, genuine, candid, open conversation with people. Yes, good. Open dialogue. Yeah. So that's good. So that's the latest there. So not all, you think everything is doom and gloom in the world right now, but the good news is there's some good news coming out of the Middle East, right? Well, Qatar kicked Hamas out of Qatar, and Hamas was the terrorist group that was being funded by Iran. So that's also very good news because it means that the Arab world is coming together and saying that they want peace in the Middle East and that they're going to police the area so that we can have a peaceful border, so that the people of Gaza can have a life, because they should have a life. Because it's terrible. The whole thing is horrible. All right. Any more questions that people had that I can look at with the cards? Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is that Biden, I think it would have been nice, but Biden is too old. Trump is too old too. I mean, the truth of the matter is it's really not America's baby. It's really the Middle Eastern baby between the Middle Eastern states and Israel. It's their peace treaty. We're just there to facilitate. And, but it would have been nice if it could have been accomplished under Biden. But, I don't really think it matters which president it is. I mean, I don't think that because Trump is gung-ho about it, he wants to take credit, but it's going to happen if Biden had stayed in, I do think it still would have happened because it's being motivated by the countries that want to do business with each other. Yeah. Yeah. But Trump, he'll want to take full credit. All right, so this is something that's come up a lot, and that has to do with the fact that when we went into remote, we saw Biden kind of aggressively engaging in military strikes. And I was concerned that we were headed closer to World War III. Now Putin is saying that he has nuclear weapons capacity. So he's retaliating by bombing Kyiv. Things are escalating. And it's kind of fulfilling that anti-globalist argument that the problem with the Democratic Party is that they want to pay for war, and not scaling. This is expensive, and it's only getting us closer to World War III. So that would be like the argument against the Democrats for getting us into this situation, that this could have been resolved with diplomacy. Why do I have a problem with that argument? Is because I think that Putin is a psychopath that invaded a sovereign country. And when someone acts like that, you can't sit down and have a nice conversation with them. That's my own personal. All right, let's see what Biden's going to do. Is Biden going to do emergency? Emergency? And if so, are we going to full-blown war? Or is he just going to leave this mess like a big dump on the floor and say, have fun with that, just like the dump you left me? Leaves a big dump as he walks out the door. Leaving impoverished. 5 of Pentacles, leaving the broken man. Yeah, he is leaving a mess. King of Cups. That's Biden. Hopes and fears tower. The stock market is unhinged. Stock market could go down. Biden thinks that Trump is an awful human being. He thinks he's just a terrible person. He's loud, he's crude, he's coarse. Leaving a broken or that getting out of the poverty. Here's Biden. Here's a potential crash. Here's trying to take the weapons of war away. So it's an attempt to dismantle. So Biden possibly attempting to dismantle I think Biden thinks he's crazy. I think that Trump is surprised by the level of hatred that Biden secretly holds for him. Trump is protected by the church. No, Biden is leaving. He has no plans of staying. It is a bit of a mess. And also economic instabilities because of the war overseas took the weapons away. Basically, dismantling Russian military capabilities is the main point. Yeah. But I don't see Biden staying. Mm-hmm. Well, the mess in the sense that he escalated the war because they were targeting and demolishing as many of Russia's military targets as possible. But the downside was that that Putin retaliated with his own retaliation against attacked Kyiv, I guess, with some mid-range missile. So it's escalating. The situation is escalating, and that's not good. And now they're talking about nuclear war, and so none of this is good. All of this is not good. And I just feel energetically as Putin, when I put myself in the shoes of Putin, very reactive. And that's dangerous. That you don't want someone to be in a state like that, because that kind of reactiveness is dangerous. And, it doesn't surprise me that that Russia attacked Ukraine this way, given how reactive I feel as Putin. Back and forth, Two of Pentacles. He always presents as this Putin, the charlatan's card. He's looking to the west. I think he wants to delay things and to delay the escalation of the war to some extent until Trump gets in office. He's pretty confident that once Trump gets in office, he will get what he wants. He's very persistent because of Nine of Pentacles, which is a wealth confidence card, and very stressed out about the loss of his soldiers. He's increasingly losing his allies. Oops. Okay, good. I'm still here. I thought I lost my connection. He's increasingly losing his allies. Yeah. Am I still there? Oh, yeah. It shows me still there. Just because of this back and forth, and then stress, and then his opposition, the alliances and judgment. This is also the West, the hope and fear, fleeing the devil card. This is somebody who the alliances are not looking that good, but he feels confident that if he delays, he can continue. He'll be able to pull it off and take Ukraine. They've made huge inroads, by the way, into Ukraine. $2.5 million losses since the start. This is why so many people are leaving the United States. They just don't want to be in the middle of this, with Trump and Biden and this war and that. Like I was watching that guy, Nomad Capitalist, and he was just saying, we can help you if you want to leave the country. We don't care if you're a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter, a Harris supporter. We just care about helping you leave if you don't want to be there. And so it's really kind of a cool service, Nomad Capitalist, because, and I like his attitude. You're not being treated right, so just leave. Is the American taxpayer getting treated right? Well, there's plenty of countries that love Americans and would love to treat you right. So you could live like royalty in Malaysia. You don't have to stay in the States. It's really cool to realize we have options. You know what I mean? No, Biden's already said he's not going to pardon Hunter. He wouldn't be able to ethically anyway. Will the Gaetz report ever be released? Oh, Matt Gaetz. What a freak. What a freaky guy. They're all freaks. They're all perverts. It's one thing they all have in common. They've all got something in the closet. It's like, oh my gosh. Matt Gaetz, the future of Matt Gaetz and the report. Flim Flam Man. Evidence against him. It was pretty damning because the magician stands in his opposition. So I would say that the evidence against him was pretty damning. They knew they could take him out. He might do a little traveling now that he doesn't have a job. He's confused. I mean, like, the truth of the matter is, I don't see him having many relationships. He's extremely angry because he feels like everybody is turning their back on him. The future of Matt Gaetz, everybody will turn their back on him. It's like he doesn't have a future. He's totally ostracized from Congress, and no one wants to know him. And he's extremely angry and upset about it because you see this kind of the trickster. Look at this anger. Meanwhile, they're off to business, power against him, and also Page of Pentacles, new money, new activities. It's kind of like they moved on. He's yesterday's news. Hopes and fears, Knight of Wands. He goes traveling, Judgment. He could go traveling, go off somewhere. He's completely confused that nobody in Congress. What happened to my friends in Congress? We were never your friends. Knight of Cups to Woo. I think he really he burned a lot of bridges in Congress. That's what it looks like for Matt Gaetz. Looks like he burned a lot of bridges. Okay. You have options. I do not have the money to leave. Well, Linda, that's what they're saying. They're saying that if you don't have the money to leave, then you probably should leave because the most expensive country around is the United States. That's the point. The point is that if you are getting dollars monthly, then the dollar is pretty valuable currency in many parts of the world. So $1,000 goes a long, long way in many parts of the world, and you would be living actually a lot better if you didn't stay. That's the point that they're making. No, he doesn't have the authority to change the laws and statutes to help, did he? No. Sweden and Denmark is expensive. If you want it easy to exit the United States, just go to Mexico. Cancun is another place people are retiring to. Cancun, Mexico. Yeah, nobody likes Nobody likes Gaetz. I don't know. He's, what's there to like? He's a creep, a pedophile, a human I mean, like, if you're gonna hate somebody, he's definitely meets the criteria. All right. Sorry about the cough. Any other questions before we close today? Where should I go on vacation? Should I go to Malaysia for 12 days? Malaysia, Morocco, Turkey, Bermuda, Caribbean. I don't know. I was thinking after that guy said, the nomad guy said that they treat you like gold in Malaysia. I'm thinking, well, it only costs $1,200 to go. That's a flight that includes 4 days in Lumpur. And then I'll do a little traveling. So, I could probably save a little money and spend 10 days and see how I feel about this part of the world. It's not particularly expensive. I don't know. Maybe I should. Morocco, I heard bad things about because there's a scam on every corner and they're constantly bothering you and grabbing you and putting henna on your hand and then getting aggressive with you. And when I heard that, I became scared of going to Morocco. That it's just too aggressive. That a lot of people say they're scared when they go to Morocco. You sound like the Beach Boys, Whimsy. Oh, you've been to Malaysia? All right. So like Malaysia is similar to Thailand. It doesn't cost a lot of money to go. Like I said, I looked at a round trip ticket. It's going to Lumpur, I think it's called. And I found one for $1,200 that included a 5-day stay at a 4-star hotel. So if you went to a 3-star hotel, you might be able to get it down to like a 900 to 1,000. And then, so you could do a really good vacation for under $2,000 for 12 days in Malaysia, probably, if you're willing to be a little frugal. Because I'm a broke aristocrat. I'm always going to look for a deal. I actually did okay in Mexico. Nobody bothered. It was like almost nobody. A little bit in the cantina, but I actually liked Mexico, and I could see myself retiring there. Not bad at all. I like having that pan, the sweet bread in the morning, the round sweet bread in the morning with coffee. I got kind of addicted to that. Oh, I can rent out 2 rooms. I have 3 rooms. Oh, where are you, Pam? Which part of the world are you? Oh, terrified in Morocco. Geez, Louise. How long do I think the nonsense will last? Let's take a look at the cards for Trump for his presidency and see how long. What is the future of Donald Trump? Is he going to be okay? He refused to hand over his medical book records. That's pretty telling, right? If someone doesn't want to hand over their medical, then you start thinking, well, what's that about, right? So let's look at Trump's medical and if he'll be able to complete his 4 years. Ten of Swords. I feel exhausted. I know that he and his wife are separated, and it's pretty open. She's not going to be moving in with him because they're separated. They're not together. But he has the Ten of Swords. That can be it's pretty bad. Person's wiped out, lack of energy. It can be arthritis. It can be stabbed in the back, betrayal. It's also a murder card, too, if someone's assassinated. I do feel energetically when I go into this that there's an increased risk for assassination of anybody that's on the wrong side of Putin. Anybody that's, I just feel it, that the sharks are there, right? And they're all fighting. They're all sharks. And I'm the little guppy, right? The remote viewer is the little guppy. Well, I don't think you should do this, sir. I don't think you should do that, sir. And they're not listening because I'm just a little guppy. But they're the big sharks, right? And they're all on the verge of World War III, right? So the feeling for me is that a lot of these people are on the verge of potential assassination. The risk for assassination is very, very high right now because of this energy. So 10 of Swords to be stabbed in the back et tu Bruto is a risk of assassination. Money in the hands of his enemies. So his enemies could be armed or lethal. Hopes and fears, the King of Swords, and then the final outcome. His health. He fears it's almost like he fears the Democrats are after him. He's got like PTSD from it. I see some type of incarceration in his future, and I don't understand what I'm seeing, but people just say, well, just read the damn cards and don't put your emotion. If I were to just read the damn cards, I would say it appears like a type of him. This doesn't necessarily, look, there are ways that he could be controlled and contained while they're still unable to lock him up, but he appears to be controlled to some extent. He has this major betrayal come in. Hierophant is also dogma, which is interesting. So it could be that he's limited by some type of dogma. Could be also the Constitution or the higher ethos. His opposition, judgment, and wealth. But what's interesting is that he had the devil over him. Could be his changed commitments to somebody. And then here, strength came up with a 9 of Wands, which is defensive or to be cornered, incarcerated. There appears to be something that's going to happen to Trump where he will not only be betrayed and stabbed in the back, possibly be by people he once trusted, but it's also looking like his future includes some type of increasing control is placed on him, so that his world becomes increasingly small and his powers become more and more limited. Yeah. Okay, so that is what I have for you guys today. Thanks for hanging out for Thursdays, whatever. I got to wait and hear from my friend to decide. We had a great time in Japan. There's another affordable vacation for you. It was $60 a night for the APU hotel. Is that what it's called? $60 a night, and it included full breakfast, like 110 things on their breakfast. They're famous for their breakfast, the APU hotel. So we stayed there for $65 a night. And if you're splitting it with another person, that means you're spending like 30 something bucks a night. And it's a great way to go and tour Japan affordably. Or if you're by yourself, I would recommend you do the capsule hotels, which are comfortable, and you'll see people of all ages at the capsule hotels. And that's another great way to hang out and visit Japan if you want to see Japan. All right, I want to thank you for watching this quick or this 1 hour hangout with me. If you're trying to get in for a reading, you can find the information below. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone. Bye. Take care, everyone.